What are you doing here? Shouldn't you be in school right now?
I work here, lady. I graduated from high school last year.
How dare you lie to me? Now you will face the true power of the Karen.
r/EntitledParents. Our first story we'll be reading today. 2 entitled moms in the span of 6 hours. From user Chance Bridge. After that, temp principal demands me to shave my beard. Has it backfire on him? From user True Madness. And then we'll be wrapping up with Revenge Comes Twice. From user Jez the Sauce God. Thank you so much to our authors for letting us read your stories. And if you're an author who would like me to read your stories next, please submit them to the r/Mr. Reddit subreddit. And if you're new, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications for new stories every single day. 2 entitled moms in the span of 6 hours. Okay, so like I said in a previous post, I work at a pizza restaurant in my town, and I love working there. So, school started for the town on August 12th, and since I graduated a year early, I don't go to high school ever again. I have been working morning shifts like crazy due to the fact that most of the dishwashers go to school, and you can't just leave school for work. Our cast. Note, these aren't their real names. We've got Entitled Mom 1, Entitled Mom 2. Me, John, my manager, Larry, the host, and we've got the blind woman. Okay, let's get to the story here. I was on my lunch break, and since I wasn't getting any dishes, I sat in one of the small booths by the front. Well, I had just taken my first bite of my pizza when I noticed a woman staring at me. I didn't think anything of it at the time, so I just shrugged it off. Not 5 minutes later, the woman walks up to me, and in the most
"Can I speak to your manager?"
voice, she says,
Excuse me? What do you think you're doing, young man?
I'm eating my lunch? Is there a problem?
Yes, there is. I can't believe you are skipping school and ruining your future. People like you disgust me.
She then points to my shirt I'm wearing. It says 2020 Future Graduate. The reason why I'm wearing this is because I wear crappy shirts to work, so I don't get my good shirts dirty. I look at her confused and realize that she must think I'm a high school student. I give a small chuckle and look at this woman. Oh, I graduated a year early, and I wear my school shirts to work because I have a lot of them.
Bullcrap! No one can graduate high school early. That lie might work on other people, but not me.
I did, and would you please go away? I'm on my lunch break, and I would like to eat. Entitled Mom 1 grabs me by my arm and pulls me out of the booth. I'm in shock that this lady is trying to drag me out of work. I start to yell for one of my managers to help me, but before I knew it, my manager, John, had gotten Entitled Mom 1's hands off of me and was yelling at her for what she was doing. Entitled Mom 1 begins to lie, saying that I made gestures to her and how I was going to hurt her. Yeah, my boss didn't believe a single thing that she said as he saw the whole thing, and since there wasn't really anyone in the restaurant, he heard the whole thing as well. Entitled Mom 1 gets upset and storms out of the restaurant without paying for anything. So my manager calls the cops, and about 20 minutes later, she is back with a cop by her side. The cops had found her at the school telling a teacher that there was a student skipping school at the pizza restaurant. She had to pay, and I think she was arrested or something like that. I don't really know. She is also banned from the restaurant. Now, the second entitled mom arrived a few hours later. It was near the shift change when this happened. I wasn't there for the whole story, but this is what I heard happened. We have a regular lady who comes in and always tips $20 no matter what. This lady is also blind and has a service dog named Toto, which she named from her favorite movie, The Wizard of Oz. Blind woman was by herself, and Toto was sitting next to her under the table. Entitled Mom 2 shows up with a rather large bulldog, and this thing starts barking at Toto the moment the dog sees him. Larry, one of the hosts, asks Entitled Mom 2 to either leave or have the dog wait outside since dogs were not allowed in the restaurant. Entitled Mom 2 starts telling Larry that she will do no such thing and her dog is not a problem. She then notices Toto under the table that Blind Woman was at.
Why the heck is she allowed to have a dog in here then?
Larry: that is a service dog, ma'am, and they are allowed in here.
The sign says no dogs, so that animal must go.
No, that dog can stay here, but you must. Larry was quickly cut off as Entitled Mom 2 walks towards Blind Woman and Toto. Entitled Mom 2 tries to grab Toto, but apparently Toto bit her hand since she was being attacked. She screamed so loudly that I run out from the back to see what was going on, and the next thing I see was horrible. Entitled Mom 2 tries to hurt Toto. People begin to either pull Entitled Mom 2 away and restrain her, or they are protecting Toto from this crazy lady. The cops are called, and Entitled Mom 2 is arrested. She said that she was trying to pet the dog, but it bit her. Yeah, no one believed her for a second. One of the cops asked Blind Woman what she saw, and she said,
I didn't see anything, but I heard a lot of yelling and screaming.
We all got a good laugh out of that, and my manager didn't charge her for her meal, and she gets 25% off anytime she eats there. Toto was taken to the animal hospital and is fine and well. Yeah, my last day working is on Saturday, as I am leaving for college. Next we've got Temp Principal demands me to shave my beard. Has it backfire on him? Hi, Mr. Reddit. I like to first say thank you for reading my stories. I enjoy your videos and find it oddly surreal to hear it being told. So thank you. Secondly, I was requested by a fellow soldier of the Army to tell more of my encounters of my teachers, and after having a thought of it, I have 3 stories, which does include this one that I think you might enjoy. So, if you want to use them, you have my full permission. It's high school, and all us kids are returning from our 2-week off vacation. Sure enough, we have an assembly in the PE building. We all go in, and I look to the front to see the vice principal and our main attraction of this story. From here on out, I will refer to him as Professor. Why, you may ask? Well, to put it lightly, if he didn't fit the stereotypical arrogant, smug, glasses down nose, uptight professor from a high-end school, then I don't know what is. Even his own stance had this "I am so much smarter than all of you combined" matter. As all us kids find a place to sit, the vice principal gets our attention. He lets us know that Professor will be our temporary principal for 3 months, while our own principal would be away, so we should welcome him to our school. Then it was the professor's turn. He even spoke down to us. Thank you, Vice Principal. While I am new to this school, I am from this other school. As I expect nothing but the best from them, I expect the same from you. In case anyone is wondering, the school he came from has one of the worst reputations in our region. So, why he walked around like he won all the Nobel Prizes was beyond me. We were shortly dismissed. Fast forward to lunchtime, and I am in my usual hangout area with my friends. I should point out that I had a well-trimmed beard at the time. I'll explain later why this is important, as I am just chatting away when I see Professor walking towards us. I see him and thought, I should welcome him. So that's what I did. Me. Hi, Professor. Professor. Have a shave. He didn't even look at me. It wasn't even a request. It was an order, a sharp, bitter order. He just kept on walking like he owned the place while I just stood there, shocked, knowing in that moment that I was going to be in a world of hurt with him. The next day, my name gets called over the loudspeaker to go to the front office. Sure enough, I do. There, I get ushered to the principal's office, where Professor is standing there. He just points to his seat, and I sit down. As I do, he starts.
You will shave.
Again, in that sharp, bitter order tone. No?
You will shave.
Me, in a jerk way. No. Professor slamming his hands on the table.
I told you to shave, so you will have a shave.
That's still a no. Professor collecting his stance, but still firm.
It's against school policy to have any kind of facial hair, so you will shave.
I smile like the Cheshire Cat. Now, I promised you why I had a beard, and in this short intermission will show why I was smiling. You see, this was my one real time I was ever rebellious in my school years, and that I didn't know the school policy apart the basics. This little line was used on me, prior of him, by the vice principal and a fellow teacher. What I responded with was the same I gave to Professor and to the vice principal prior. Prove it. Show me where it says in the school policy that no one can have any facial hair. When you do, I will gladly shave mine off, and I expect that you will enforce the policy on yourself. He had a beard also. The other male teachers, and some of the ladies too. Oh, I can be a jerk when I choose to be, or want to, or just in general. Professor quickly backpedaling in his statement.
The policy is for students.
Me, still being a smarty. It's school policy, Professor. Therefore, the teachers must also follow it too. Professor is glaring at me, rage in his eyes, clearly never been spoken to by a student.
If you do not shave, you will get detention.
I smile yet again. Why? The school I went to was in a small town, surrounded by other small towns. I lived in one said small town that was a 30-minute drive away. My only way to and from is one of the school buses. My mother, before I even started high school, told me that if I got detention, she by no means would pick me up. I took that to heart. Me looking at the phone. You want to dial, or shall I? Professor looked, taking back slightly, but quickly got back to his normal self and got my mother's number. The two talk as I am just watching his face go from determination to confusion to anger to confusion again and then defeat. He hangs up. Turning to me, furious, he knows I know full well what my mother said to him. Then he gets an idea.
You won't get detention, but for the next week, you will get in-school detention.
I was confused, as I never heard of such a thing, so I asked him what it was. He told me that next week, this was on a Friday, the start of second period, recess, third and fourth period, I would be placed into detention where he expected me to do my schoolwork. I look at him, noticing the obvious flaw in his so-called genius plan. He was punishing me by giving me free time. Professor smugly.
Now, I will give you 3 days if you shave. So, what do you say?
I stand up. I'll see you next week, Professor. Monday comes, and sure enough, I go to my in-school detention, which was just in a small room next to the front office and the principal's office that was used for parent and teacher meetings. I go in and spend my time just doodling on the whiteboard as I came to realize that I wasn't being supervised during my whole time in there. Tuesday, I didn't even bring any of my schoolwork, just some drawing books and my Game Boy. As I sat in the front office waiting area, 2 students see me. Student 1. Hey, OP, what are you doing here? Oh, I got in-school detention. In-school detention? I then explained what it was, which both of them just laughed by how sheer stupid it was. Wednesday and I have 2 new inmates. Who are they? Student 1 and Student 2. Thursday, we had 2 more. By Friday, there were 7 of us. After my time was up, I get called to the principal's office again, and there's Professor, all smug-like. So, did we learn our lesson? Me, with the most straightest of faces. Nope. Professor, now furious. Get out! I shrugged and left. Needless to say, he didn't bother me after that. My little story went wild through the school, as more and more kids were getting in-school detention because of him. He soon stopped doing it after a month because the students that were getting it, to what I can recall, was in their double digits. I was glad when he left. So here I am, in my 30s, and yes, I still have a beard. Now if you like this, do let me know. And if you want to hear more, I got 2 more stories. Mr. Grumpy and the Legend, the Myth and the Horror of the Red Dragon. And our final story of the day, Revenge Comes Twice. Hey you guys, hope you are enjoying your day. I think I have a story that fits here perfectly. England is my city, so being a UK resident, I should be able to write competently. If I don't, 1,000 apologies. I warn now, maybe a story very long. You grammar people mad much? I'll put it too long didn't read at the bottom. Cast. We've got me. I don't know who he is, you tell me, but I heard he's really good looking. We've got Heartless, the victim of the revenge. We've got Heartless's husband, my mother, best person I know. And we've got Cool Neighbor, friends with his son. Backstory. My mother had made a friend. Her name was Heartless. She had a horrible boyfriend and had just recovered from a miscarriage. This was before she warranted revenge. She asked if she could live with us. I'm not sure if she helped out with bills, but I don't believe she did. Not gonna lie, as you will see. Heartless lived with us for a while. She moved out, and that was where our story begins. The story. My mom's brother, my uncle, let her move into his property, which he let pay for rooms to live in, out to people. In my city, he lives in London. We do not. Well, her roommates couldn't stand her as she didn't pay for her part in the water, electric bills, which put the whole house behind in bills. Heartless also constantly argued with her housemates. They obviously kicked her out. Heartless actions in my uncle's other house caused a rift between my mom and her brother, as we put someone who nearly caused my uncle to lose money in his other property. They made up eventually. All these events happened in 2014. Revenge 1. Now, Heartless disappears. She resurfaced in 2017 and moved in next door to us. She didn't even come to us and say anything, not even a greeting, as for the foreseeable future, we would be neighbors. Even though I live in the prestigious city of England, big up my guy Nick Crompton, I do have a Ghanaian heritage, and people of African background, even Asian background, find it extremely rude not to greet someone you know. For example, once my friend's parents punished them for not greeting someone. It's that extreme, I'm not exaggerating, and I mean African punishment, not go to your room or grounded. Thank God my mom's not like that. So when this happened, my mom was extremely offended. One cold winter in 2018, my mom was leaving the house to go to work when suddenly Heartless's husband drove recklessly towards his house on the pavement. If my mom had left the house literally 2 seconds earlier, he would have got her. He was doing at least 25 to get to his house. What an idiot. Obviously, I was enraged, so I egged his car. I'll explain in detail later. He spent a week driving around, wondering what that eggy smell was. When he finally washed his car, he noticed the egg on the hood of his car, and he was livid. I woke to a bang on my door and shouting, fearing my mom would be mad if she found out what I did. I didn't open the door. She didn't awake, so lucky me. Our other next door neighbor opened the door. He told Heartless's husband to calm down. The following conversation ensued. I spy and laugh from my bedroom. They don't see me. Heartless's husband.
Open the door. I know you're inside.
He continues to bang on the door. Cool neighbor. Hey, what's going on? Heartless and her husband walk out of my garden and go into my cool neighbor's. Heartless husband.
He threw eggs on my car. Look.
Cool neighbor. Are you sure? He's been a good person to me. Heartless, with a look of shock, screeches the famous and says,
He's been highly annoying, playing music, loud singing, and shouting loudly, and banging on the walls.
I may have been making life tough for them, but they were talking poo about my mom behind her back and also ruining friendships she had. Cool neighbor. He's never been like that with me. Do you have proof? 'Cause I can check my cameras.
Yes, check the cameras. Yes, you will see him do it.
One thing Tweedledee and Tweedledum, Heartless husband and Heartless, didn't know was I'm a master strategic. If I want to do something like throw eggs at someone's car, I'm not going to get caught. So, I waited for a time when no one would be outside, the dead of the night, ideally between 1 and 3 a.m. No camera could capture me in the act. Cool neighbor had kindly positioned the camera to overlook mine and his front and back camera. His cameras aren't night vision, so their light is the motion-activated ones in his front garden. So I never left my house. I opened the window closest to Heartless husband and Heartless driveway where their car was parked and threw the eggs. The camera wouldn't be able to see me as there was no light in the pitch black night. I obviously didn't turn the light of the room on, the actual perfect plan, so I was never caught. The real revenge. But it turns out I should have left it to karma, as a few days ago we got a letter. A letter came to our house, and we opened it before realizing it was for Heartless. Idiot never changed her mail address. It was a letter from her work. It had a report, a written-out recording of a hearing between Heartless and her employer. Heartless was a carer for the elderly. She arrived late to the patient's house, watched TV, or slept, and the patient passed away. The letter stated she was watching TV when the doctor and EMT team arrived. What kind of person are you if you can't even console a grieving person? She didn't even console or offer a drink or aid the patient's husband. It said that Heartless will be reprimanded or be sacked, and as the patient's husband blames her, as it states in the letter, he said that if she wasn't sleeping, his wife would still be alive, or he could have been with her when she left. I personally hope it goes to court. Anyway, Heartless was supposed to go to a hearing with her work yesterday. However, as my mom keeps forgetting to go to the street mailbox, she may not know about the meeting she was supposed to have. In the UK, there's a mailbox for the whole area, not on every house like the US. That's why she hasn't sent it back to Cinder yet, but we will. I'll give an update if I find anything out. And congrats to our re-generals of the day, Spider, Elliot, and MD Gold. Become tomorrow's re-generals by dropping as many re's as you can in the comments below.